talks with a world-class manager have exploded into life as a shock name leaps ahead of the pack. Kieran McKenna, the mastermind behind Ipswich's back-to-back promotions, is in discussions to take the hot seat, but he's not alone. Kevin Muscat has stormed into pole position despite being locked in a title race in China and might not even be available until the end of November. And that's not all. Visa drama looms as Raphael Wicky enters the race, but could his backroom team be banned from stepping into Ibrox altogether? Meanwhile, Slaven Bilic, fresh from the Saudi Pro League, is begging for the job, but is this just another washed-up name in a revolving door of failed projects? Strap in, this one's explosive from start to finish. Right, here's the latest twist in the managerial saga that's keeping you on the edge of your seat, because let's be honest, you're not sleeping properly until this Ibrox hot seat is filled. Rangers have now held talks with Kieran McKenna, and if the reports are on the money, this could be a massive shift in direction. Now, I know you've probably heard all the noise about Danny Role being the front runner, but let's be brutally honest, he's not exactly setting pulses racing, is he? Yes, he's available for free, no compensation needed. Aye, great for saving pennies, but this is not a Lidl appointment. You want someone who can bring silverware, not a spreadsheet win. McKenna, on the other hand, has done something extraordinary down south. Back-to-back promotions with Ipswich Town, dragging them out of the wilderness and into the Premier League after over 2 decades in the dark. That's not a fluke. That's a manager with vision, discipline, and a backbone. And unlike the chaos Role left behind at Sheffield Wednesday, where he didn't even show up for pre-season, McKenna stood by Ipswich even when the drop looked inevitable. That's character. Add to that the fact that clubs like Manchester United, Brentford, and Spurs are sniffing around the 39-year-old, and you're talking about someone with serious pedigree. This is not another Russell Martin clone with a rigid pressing style and no plan B. This is a coach who adapts, who builds, who delivers. But here's where it gets interesting. Are Rangers actually aiming high enough? If you've got someone like McKenna on the table, someone described as world-class, someone who's beaten Leeds and Southampton to promotion, why are you still flirting with a Role appointment that reeks of desperation? Would it be a dereliction of duty by the Rangers board to appoint Danny Role over Kieran McKenna, just to save a few £1 million in compensation? Rangers have now redrawn the shortlist following Gerrard's decision to walk away, and let's call it what it is. He bottled it, said it wasn't the right time. Well, Rangers need someone who believes every moment is the right time to take the helm at this club. Enter Kevin Muscat, a name that'll split opinion faster than a VAR call at Parkhead. The former Rangers defender is now bossing it in China, sitting top of the league with Shanghai Port, and apparently the new bookies' favorite to take the job. And you can see why. He's got his side leading the title race, he's on a tax-free contract that'd make your eyes water, and he's got a hard edge this squad might just need. But here's the catch, you can't have him now. Not for another 6 weeks. His last league match in China is scheduled for late November, meaning Rangers would need to limp through crucial fixtures, including the Premier Sports Cup semi-final against Celtic with an interim team of coaches just keeping the lights on. Stephen Smith, Brian Gilmore, Rhys Owen, and Sal Bibbo are running things at Auchenhowie for now, but it's hardly a title-winning dugout, is it? Andrew Kavanagh and Parag Maratha are under the cosh to get this one absolutely right. There's no appetite among you for another Russell Martin experiment that ends with the team chasing shadows at Hampton. But here's the dilemma. Do Rangers hold out for Muscat and risk disaster in the short term, or play it safe with Role and potentially pass up a manager who could bring real steel and a winning mentality? Would it be utter madness for Rangers to delay a new appointment for 6 weeks just to get Kevin Muscat, especially with a Cup semi-final against Celtic looming? Another curveball in the Rangers managerial race, and this one's landed from Switzerland. Raphael Wicky, that's the new name thrown into the hat as the club's hunt for a proper gaffer enters its second week. It's now 8 days since Russell Martin was shown the door, and while the cleanup job from his time in charge is already daunting enough, adding a potential visa headache into the mix is just what you didn't need. Wicky's not without credentials, let's be fair. He won the Swiss Super League and Cup with young boys and did it in style. That's silverware, something that's become far too rare at Ibrox recently. Over 80 matches, 51 wins, and an average of nearly 2 points per game is no joke. He's a coach with structure, identity, and a philosophy, and all things you could never accuse Martin of having. The bloke couldn't organize a T-rota, never mind a backline. But here's the kicker. When Wicky was on the verge of taking the job at West Brom earlier this year, the whole thing collapsed because his backroom team couldn't get visas. That's right. His own staff weren't cleared to work in the UK. Now imagine that circus rolling up to Ibrox. After all the dithering and delay, can you really afford to appoint someone whose appointment might fall apart at the border? And don't kid yourself, if Wicky comes, he'll want his team. Most managers do. And who can blame him? But it raises the very real possibility of Rangers being caught in yet another off-field farce. 1 minute, he's shaking hands with the board. The next minute, the Home Office are saying non-merci to his assistant and fitness coach. What then? Another week wasted? Another round of interim caretakers? More uncertainty? More excuses? You wanted Gerrard. You didn't get him. Now, you're looking at a man who might not even be allowed to bring his staff through customs. Doesn't exactly scream stability, does it? Would appointing Raphael Wicky, knowing there could be serious work permit issues, be a complete embarrassment for Rangers if it all falls apart again? Well, if this managerial search wasn't chaotic enough, here comes another unexpected twist. Slaven Bilic is now throwing his name into the ring and reportedly wants the Rangers job. You heard that right. The former West Ham, West Brom and Saudi Pro League boss is ready and willing to make the move to Ibrox. Now, you might remember Bilic from his spell in England, 2 and a bit seasons at West Ham, where he had a few good moments but ultimately fizzled out. That famous win against Manchester United at Upton Park, it's probably still on his CV in bold. But then what? Sacked after a poor start to the following campaign, then bounced around the managerial circuit from China to Saudi Arabia and a brief, forgettable stint at Watford. Most recently, he was in charge of Al Fateh in Saudi Arabia until August 2024. But since then, nothing. No club, no games. Just another free agent with a big name and a mixed bag of results. Let's not sugarcoat it. Rangers are now on their 4th managerial search this calendar year. Philippe Clement, gone in February. Barry Ferguson, a brief stopgap. Then Russell Martin, whose spell was about as effective as a chocolate teapot. 17 matches, 5 wins, and a Europa League campaign in tatters. And now the club's languishing in 8th, trailing Hearts by 11 points. It's not just a rebuild, this is a salvage operation. So is Slaven Bilic the man for it? Look, the Croat has experience, plenty of it, but his record is hit and miss. He managed promotion with West Brom, then got sacked months later for failing to cut it in the Premier League. At Watford, he lasted about as long as a steak bake at lunchtime. And in Saudi Arabia, let's be honest, winning there means as much to Rangers fans as a friendly in Dubai. Yes, he's available. Yes, he's willing. But you need to ask yourself, does this feel like a long-term fix or just another tired name being recycled by a board, scrambling for answers? Would hiring Slaven Bilic be a step forward for Rangers or just another short-term gamble with no real plan behind it? Comment below what you think about the news. Don't forget to leave like on the video to help me out. I post videos every day talking about our Rangers, so if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on the latest news. See you soon.